with the International Monetary Fund,
yeah.
where they've they've allowed us to borrow money from them to help us invest, and also there has been also an agreement with the China and other lenders that now they can give us a little bit of space, breathing space.
Okay, now
so we are no longer like in a mud, in rain and so on. And things are moving. Like we have free education, people are being employed, all that kind of thing. It's a movement. Whether people like it or not, that's the bottom line. It's there.
The fear is the Chinese could take over most of the economy. Most of the country's economical strategies, the economical areas, say for example the land, the agricultural land, the airports and so on. This is what they've done with Malawi and other parts when they need to recover their money. So you find that you're totally dependent on them. So that is the main rally that could come to Zambia.
That's the truth of the matter to say. I mean, in a way, shall we say, not necessarily the truth, but it's something that, yes, in someone's head they'll be thinking, these are our lenders, and they are like just whipping us and say, you owe us money, and we need this and the other. However, I believe that it just depends on the leadership that you have.
All right.
If the leader that you have, the president that you have, is able to discuss, communicate, liaise with those lenders, like the Chinese and so on, and come up with some agreement, I don't think there will be any fear to worry about them taking over this and the other.
Okay.
However, I cannot talk much because I'm not privy to what is happening in terms of the discussions and so on. But generally speaking, I would say, once you have good leadership, there's a way of movement.
Okay.
You can move.
Okay. Now, something else has come up, and this has been in the news quite often, and it's even in I think in today's news. The human rights organizations, 13 of them, civil society organizations in Zambia, have expressed concern and described the shrinking space, of freedom of expression, which is really now affecting the country. And of course, they said growing intolerance to dissidents, a number of violence, and forcible arrest of opposition figures like Sam Tembo, and also state-owned Zambia Daily Mail fired a photojournalist for taking pictures of Zambians who were chewing up. He was fired because they didn't want that to be taken. They didn't want to do that. Now, Transparency International, Zambia, Action Aid, and Pano Institution of Southern Africa, these are the organizations, 8 of them came down and said, look, but the question is, he campaigned so much at the time for issues like the human rights issues when he was in opposition, when he was, and he said when he came to power that this is one of the things that he's going to sort out, so that there's a freedom of expression, there's a freedom of that. Now, he's in office now, and they are telling him this thing is continued, just as President Lungu had a similar cases of human rights. How is he now? Can the party do something to tell him that, listen, this is not what we are as Zambians. The human rights have to be a part of the agenda, to correct the agenda?
Yeah, so in terms of human rights, I can, my perspective, my understanding is that, for instance, there was a law that has been in place where Zambians or us Zambians or citizens can express themselves and maybe even use bad language towards the president, and then they'll be arrested. But the president sent that to Parliament.
These are things he campaigned for, remember?
Yes, he sent that to Parliament and said, can you remove this law?
Okay.
That law is being removed so people can express themselves and they can even use bad language towards it. So that's what I can see. But some people say, why did he remove it? Why? But he has done that. That's one of the things that he has done.
Okay.
Number 2, he's also he's mentioned that for the police, for example, if they are going to arrest somebody, they must make sure that the person has done something wrong. They've got evidence. Once the person is arrested, the person has got a right to be bailed out or to have the police bond, to be police bond or bailed out if he goes towards court.
Okay.
But those are some of the things that are in place. So he is working towards human rights to ensure that there's freedom of expression. People are expressing themselves. You are free. You are free to talk.
Yeah.
You are free to
the police warning of former President Lungu for jogging without permission and all that, because that has also been there. They're preventing him from they need him to inform them when he's going. He's becoming like an activist as well. That issue has also attracted a lot of attention because the former president goes out to jog and then suddenly he's being stopped by the police because he has a big following. Could that be an impact as well? Why is he supposed to let the police know that he's going to jog?
Okay, so what I would say there, I'm not really so privy to the law that is in there, but however, I know that he has been allowed, our former president, Mr. Lungu, has been allowed to run, but what has happened all of a sudden, I'm not sure what it is that has happened. Maybe it's because the numbers of people who are joining. Again, whether the law does not allow that is something that someone has to go in and check whether, is this something that is allowed to do so. And also, just for your information, I think recently the same former president has decided to come back into politics.
He
has decided to come back into politics, which is fine. It's a democracy. So, like we say, he's got supporters. HH, our president, he's got supporters as well, and other socialist party and so on. They've also got their own supporters. But at the end of the day, we are looking at democracy, and the important thing, whatever we are talking about, is about the nation. The nation has to grow economically so that the people can enjoy, can have something. Okay, so it takes time, especially when it's just like when you have a home and you have inherited zero, something. So you have to start from somewhere. And eventually you get somewhere. And again, if there's that consistency according to the leaders that take over, because there's no president that's going to be there forever. This is the 7th president. Somebody will come after him, number 8. Now, it will be up to the next president to look at how they're going to be moving towards, for the Zambians, not for themselves and for the few people that they are supporting them. No, but for everybody. It's the same thing when you have children. You got 8 children. Are you just going to feed 5 or 4 of them?
No, of course
you're going to feed everybody. So you're going to deal with that and make sure that everything is in place. So
what happened to Kenneth Kaunda's party, United National Independence Party? Can it come back? Because there is, or is it completely whipped out? It can't even be mentioned anywhere because. What happened? We
wouldn't say, one thing that I would say, I say thank God for UNIP, because UNIP was the first party, of course, with the ANC, African National Congress. That was at the time was one guy called Harimanga Kumbla. They were working together with KK, and there was another one called Kapwepwe.
Kapwepwe,
But what we're saying is UNIP was there, and they brought us where we are today. Of course. Okay, they passed on the relay button. So I wouldn't say UNIP can never come back. Who am I to say that? They've got a chance, they've got the space. If somebody from there can come and say, I am UNIP, because it was the first party that brought Zambia to where we are. Why not? Yes, at the moment they are struggling, but
the key question is why suddenly the support that it had and everything that it had, and out of the blue it lost the support of the people. It lost there was no strong man out there to carry the torch of KK?
My thinking is again it comes to the citizens, how they feel. If they feel that party that was there before, they helped us to where we are going forward, maybe we want someone different, they will be going that way. But there will be some people who still think, this party which is ruling now, compared to UNIP, I think UNIP had good positives here. And of course, they had negatives there. But at the end of the day, it's all about people's perspectives. The citizens, the population. So if somebody is coming out for UNIP and comes up with something that people think that, yeah, this someone we can trust, why not?
Okay. Another promise. He made a promise, HH, when he was coming into power. If I call him HH, that's the president.
Yes.
When he was coming to power. And that is the issue of promoting issues affecting women. He's in power now for nearly 2.5 years. And the women are looking. They don't really see much of the promotions, especially the women on the ground with the unions and so on, that is going on. Is he going against his own word again?
Is this promotion what I talked
about? No, promotion in a sense that women are given positions of authority.
Okay, in the
women in the party. Women are given positions in the government. Women, the education of women, so that there is a much bigger opportunities for them, because with the time, most of them were left behind in education-wise, and most of the other things that have been happening in terms of what can I say, but mainly the political side, because one lady came up with that and said, look, we've been doing our level best to promote issues that are affecting especially young women who are going to school. Others don't even go to school. The fathers are not educating them, or they're not, or there are no proper sanitations or things which are required by women. So there is too much. If there is no food, it's always got to be the women. They are in a different angle. And then when he was campaigning to become president, this is one of the issues that he said was going to be part of his agenda. But it's 2.5 years now.
So there's a challenge there politically. There's a challenge politically. This is how it goes. So the president has got the power to appoint. Say, for example, now, if you are going to be a minister, you have to be a member of parliament.
Of course, of course.
If there's also that power that is got, the right to appoint somebody. I think he's got about 8 or 10, I think, number of people that he can appoint to try and balance things.
Okay.
And he has done what he can. Now, outside the cabinet, he has also appointed ambassadors, high commissioners, who are ladies. So he is doing his best to ensure that he gets a balance. But one thing that I would like to put across here is when it comes to people standing for members of parliament, there must be a deliberate policy or procedure in the party, each party that stands for to become
there should
a deliberate policy where they will say we should have a percentage of ladies and a percentage of men, because it can be challenging when it becomes to when they say what's the word, when they are doing the nominations and so on and so on. But once you have a lady standing in as an MP, then there's a chance that they can win. And then when they win, they've got a chance of becoming an MP, a cabinet minister.
One of the things that was said at the beginning was that there would be fixed quotas. When they said they put the quotas there, and they said there should be a quota of at least something like 4 to 5% of women in certain areas. This is an area for them alone. They said, look, even if it's a cabinet, we're going to have 5 to 6 women, and then the rest of us, the men, can come in. But if the positions, what will promote them, like in parliament, for example, if there are members of parliament that are coming up, one of the things that he said was, I'm going to make sure that we have the right women, obviously not just electing, not just putting them there, but we have a quota where they stand, and it's themselves alone, so that we have a women quota, like in Rwanda and other parts of Africa, so that they're there. He didn't do that.
So
he didn't do that.
And remember what I would say. No, what I would say here again, like I said, the challenge is what you have. Remember that is coming from the party side of things. So doing the party
remember, you've said he's got the power. He can sit in parliament. He can even work on the constitution of the country, or he can sit in his own party and challenge his own party to do that.
Yeah, but remember, he's only been there for 2 years.
2.5 years.
So 2.5. Well, it's not even 2.5. It's 2023 from August.
Okay.
This is we're in almost November. We're October. So it's 2 years and 2 months or
so
something.
So you think he will change it up in time?
Going forward, I believe he's got that capability, and I think for me is a very different. Is very different.
You see, everything goes by what you say, and then of course you may say something, but then you don't do it, and then midway through, you may if you keep saying it and people hear it, and then if you don't say it, and you said it at the beginning, this is where the challenge is coming. Because if you said it at the beginning, and then somewhere in the midway he finds that there is a block where he's being blocked, he can still mention it.
So if I can just say again, just to make sure we are on the same page here. The number of people who were elected as MPs, in terms of the ladies, okay, the numbers was less. So now for him to bring them into government as a minister, ministers, that was a challenge. Now he has now chipped. Wait a minute. He has now chipped in and say where he can send ladies to be helping, even if it's in foreign countries. Okay, that is also showing that he is working on what you said he's mentioned.
Listen,
he's working towards that.
If they were not elected, they were not on the ballot boxes to stand. In the beginning, he would have done that right from the beginning, to have more women standing up. But they were not elected, or they didn't even stand on the ballot boxes as MPs. Because if they were not elected, that means from the beginning he didn't put them there. The chances would have been elected when they're there, but they're not even there.
So the challenge now, I understand where you come from. The challenge now here is when you have a leader, you've got people that are backing. You can't just do something on your own. Okay. You need people behind you to help you. You can't be everywhere. And you are hoping that those people who are behind you, they're helping you, use or follow what you are trying to put things in place. Okay. And then at the end you find yourself, but I thought this was in place. And you find yourself in a situation where things have not worked the way maybe you had thought. But going forward, you're saying, okay, that bit did not work out. How else can I kind of put ladies so that they can also have some, something that I mentioned. So that is basically what he's doing. But going forward, I'm sure I'll be also on the lookout. Because I believe that ladies actually, they do work well.
Oh yeah, they do.
Ladies do work well, honestly.
Of course
they do work well.
Of course they do. So given the opportunities, why not?
Give them the opportunity where they can, and he has given as many as he can.
One other important factor, the foreign policy. Very little is known about HH's foreign policy, because it's like when he was inaugurated, he mentioned the whole center. He was centered himself on Zambia. The entire speech, for practical, was on what is going on in Zambia and what he was intending to do, and how he's going to fight corruption, and what he's going to, to try the economy back, and all that. But he never mentioned the foreign policy, which is how he's going to deal with other African countries, how he's going to deal with the foreign European and Americans and so on, because this also affects a lot. When Robert Mugabe made mistakes with him, you could see how Zimbabwe went into the mess that it did. So if a president doesn't have a proper foreign policy, that may come in later on to start affecting the economy of the country and other things in the country. Do you know anything about because in a manifesto I've been trying to go around, there's very little about Zambia and the rest of the world. It's Zambia, 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 Zambia.
So in terms of foreign policy, my understanding, my perspective is that actions speak louder than words.
Of course,
The president has been around the world. One of the things that he has attended is, the Ukraine war, where they were trying to have the African leaders go there and try and see if they'll bring about that
peace in that area.
So he was one of those that was appointed by whoever was appointing them, and he went there to try and say we need peace. So in a way, you can see that's one area. Now he has been in America. He has also been in China. America and China, there is always that loggerhead that goes on. But he has been here and there. He has been in Europe.
Yeah.
So it shows a lot in terms of foreign policy, what he's looking at. All he's saying is that the world, we are here, we just want peace across the press. Let's work together. Economically, what do you have? What do we have? Let's work together. We've got some raw materials here, but we don't want to send the raw materials going forward. We want we want manufacturing industries in place. So we want that so that we can sell some finished goods. But he is working around, and for me, his actions speak louder than words.
When you have actions, and you don't put things on a table for those who are supposed to be knowing what's going on, especially when it comes to Africa. There's very little that we know. Okay, he's traveled to China, he's traveled to America, he's traveled even to help with the peace in Ukraine. But the policies of how Zambia is treating itself with the rest of the world and the rest of Africa is very key to certain issues. And that is something which hasn't come out. So we can see him moving, but what is he gaining in going to America? Is he going to get another loan? Is he going to?
No, he hasn't been. He hasn't. You remember there was the September one where we have the that September yearly meeting that takes place, but he never went there. It was the Foreign Affairs Minister who went there. Representing Zambia. But the bottom line here is, if you said you were looking for this particular in writing, black and white, it's something that I'll definitely need to have a look and see if there is something in writing. Like you said, yes, there would be something needed,
because it's like,
I can't say.
Even on the African continent, it's like you say, this is what we have. Because if Zambia has this, Zimbabwe can have this, and then we work in that sort of cooperation. Because I like what he said at the beginning in his speech when he came into office. Put Zambia first, just like Donald Trump said in America. Put Zambia first. Do this for Zambia. Do this because he's an experienced man. He's been, he's been there. He tried for president five times, and then he kept losing, and then he won the sixth time. So he knows exactly where maybe the money went here, maybe the corrupt people and so on. He knows what's going on. But at the same time, when policies come out and you're going to let Africa know, or even the world know, that this is exactly where we are standing. We've got these dates to deal with, but how do we deal? What are we selling to the outside world, which is going to help Zambia ourselves? That is the policy I'm trying to look at.
Yes. I understand. I know that from last time we talked about foreign policy. I know that the beginning, the way it was outlined was to make sure that where we didn't have communication, or if you like, that kind of liaison with any country, if we are able to create an environment or have our own ambassador or high commissioner there, then we do it that way, so that we can have as much, contacts across the world, so that, like I said, the more contacts you have, the better the chances of your economic development. But again, that is another something that needs to be discussed between two nations.
It's like what most Zambians are saying. I'm not a Zambian, but what most Zambians are looking at, it's all about. He's been in Zambia for a very long time. When it comes to, because the foreign policy is also something that you either have somebody who is very well informed on that ground and can help you to deal with it, because he's been in Zambia too long, he knows about Zambia, and when it comes to other parts of Africa and the outside, it's a different ball game. So that is something that maybe you as members of the party have to come up with and say, look, this is what we want, and forward that to him.
Yeah, well, I would say that anything that any kind of ideas that are in place, we are able to send to the people that
that deals with that.
Yeah, that deal with us. But like I said, it's something that we have to go and check and see to ensure that there is definitely something in black and white, like you said. But there is definitely something there. But maybe like you are looking for something extra, which sometimes you have to, you start from somewhere and then you say, well, I think there's something missing here, let's add that. So there definitely is something, the foreign policy there, but maybe there's just not as much as you were.
Coming to the Zambians in the diaspora, we've got a lot of Zambians in the diaspora, quite a very huge amount. But then again, the parliament in Zambia and the parliament in you Zambians and the parliament in Zambia and the government in Zambia has not come up with something that can utilize you as Zambians. I've seen this in Zimbabwe now, I'm seeing this in Nigeria, and I'm seeing this in even Uganda at the moment, where people in the diaspora are contributing quite a lot. A vote would be, for example, one of the first things that you can think about. Is that there in the party at all, in your party, that we could get the diaspora to vote as well, or we could get the diaspora to be part of the contributor? Because they're sending a lot of money home. Might as well do something.
It is right. Yeah. So one thing that my understanding and my knowledge so far is that we in Zambia we have got 10 provinces. Okay. So the diaspora is seen as the 11th province of the country. Yeah. Now, obviously, there's a start. Remember, 2 years in power. Diasporians have been here for a long time. Yeah. Yeah. So other governments could also have chipped in to say here, and then the next one will be saying, okay, the other government has given us, they've left us here, what else can we add on? But there must be a beginning. So remember what we said about the huge challenges that this particular government has. Okay. There's so many challenges, and as a result, Rome was not built in one day. So as a result, you need to be moving in the right direction, but you get there someday. The points to say, oh yeah, even as you know, we are all human beings. We forget certain things and say, oh, maybe I'm not saying the government's forgotten, but as human beings, individuals, we forget something else. Oh reminded me. Oh I forgot about that. Let me do that. Oh I'm working on that. Just that give me a bit of time. Let me work on it. So definitely. I know we don't vote. Which I would love to vote from here if they from this end. I know South Africans, they vote. From this end. So if they can make us in the diaspora here, in America, everywhere, Europe, anywhere, Australia, if they can make those people vote. We're going back. The time comes, it'll be good.
This is part of the foreign policy as well, which which you people have to implement, because it has to come from you. Yes. As people who are here, and you put it down as well and said this is one of the things. I mean, Cameroonians, I think Cameroonians and Guinea-Bissau now are pressing the government because their numbers, the numbers, and even Zimbabweans are doing. I'm very impressed with the way Zimbabweans are looking at it, and the government has started to listen to them. So I think I push this to you now. You people who are you're secretary of this organization. These are some of the things that you need to keep pushing forward.
Absolutely, it's one of those things. I mean, we as long as we are Zambians. We should have that right as well to vote. Okay. But it's all about, like I said, this government is a new government, and it's only been there 2 years, 2 months, and so they still got the platform, to ensure that these things, are brought into onto the table and work on that.
He came with a mandate to put down something. To prevent corruption as one of the key things, and to create a government of transparency. As he said this, transparency was the key to making sure that corruption is eliminated, not just in Zambia, in the rest of Africa. Now, we could say 2.5 years now. What are these grounds that can... What are these grounds? Because the grounds that he talks about, being in the media all the time and talking about where money has gone, being accountable and showing money. 2.5 years, he hasn't shown this. The money hasn't, I mean, what I'm saying is accountability. If I'm giving you something, and where we count accountability, we look at what we pulled out. Say, for example, find reports about issues that are happening in ministries, in governments, here and there. They appear in the media, say we are spending this amount of money onto this. Because we remember when he came in, he said he didn't want anything, you know, buying new cars, buying new car for the State House, buying new this and all that. He cancelled all the deals involving new cars and what with it. And he was telling mayors and all those people that, please, you can't, the government is not, taxpayers are not going to start paying for you to do certain things. So he brought in that policy. Now, the problem with that now is that people need to see that in reality, the BMW, which should have been, you know, all these big, high Mercedes, which should have gone to the president, has instead money has gone to the hospital, and we are seeing it, that it's written down and transparency is there, because that's the key thing that he said he was going to do. Is he doing that?
I'm sure he is. I mean, he remember, he is there and telling his ministers, this is what I'm expecting from each one of you.
Okay.
This,
no, what I'm saying,
yeah,
when he brings that out, it's like, I give you a report today, and I bring it out, and it's there in the media. That's the transparency. Say the government this year made 2.5 million from the sale of Chiwa, or from the sale of maize, or from the sale of this, and then people get to know that that is actually out. But it's in the media.
Yeah,
you get the point. Yeah. That's transparency.
But the transparency is showing. So maybe what you are looking for has not yet popped up. I don't know when in terms of the timing, from how long should we come up with that?
No.
But
listen,
there is listen, for example,
it doesn't take a year. In 1 year, you have to be. This is where things go wrong. So in one year, if I'm running a company, the Department of Trade and Industry will want me to declare my taxes at the end of the year, and I'll be able to explain in some kind of way how much money I've spent and how much money I've given out.
Yes,
okay, the budget is there, it's done and all that, but the transparency he had said himself he was going to do in making sure that accountabilities are shown anywhere where you go. You say that you go to the media and say, last month the president's office spent less than £200. That is not there. There is an institution that deals with that, and every year they produce a report. No. I'm not saying about the yearly report, because this is where I put him. If I had a chance to talk to him, because he said so as a person who, you know, over the years, and he said, look, where the money disappears is where the report comes up in a year. Because in a year, somebody has enough time to cook up the books, you know. In a year, if you give me 2 million, I'll tell you what I've spent in the whole year with the 2 million. That means I will have already, you get my point. But if you give me a month, within 1 month, and you tell me, give me a weekly report of how much, just like in schools, a weekly report on how your child is doing. You as a parent, you know that my daughter is, this time she failed in mathematics. They're giving you homework so that you're looking at it and you're saying, even if this child fails, but at least this child has tried. You are seeing how he has been doing. So this is the monthly reports. No, he himself said he was going to do that.
My perspective on this one, I have not, like you said, you know, maybe I have not seen, but I know, knowing what kind of person our president is, he has been asking for this, and I'm sure that there's some documents that are being, you know, shared with him. Now, when you talk about sharing on social media, in the media or whatever, I can't say much. You see, I'm not privy to that kind of thing.
You have nothing to hide. That's the point.
No.
Nothing to hide.
I wouldn't say that he's hiding anything. There's no way he would hide anything at all. And as far as I'm concerned, this man can never hide anything from anyone. That's how. This is me. Okay. This is my thinking. Okay. Whether I'm wrong or right, but this is my thinking. He's one man who is very truthful.
Okay, lastly, how do you see the future of the country? How do you see the future? Is he going to be re-elected in 2026? You think he stands a chance? already these issues we have discussed, the foreign policy, the civil rights, and so on and so forth, they are already beginning to bite now. Do you see Zambians behind him in 2026? Or on the future of the country? Is he the savior, the Jesus that Zambia needs now?
I believe that he's got a chance of retaining his presidence, and
Remember
the way he has worked.
The other part is growing up.
Yes, I understand.
Lunga might come back. He has learned from his past experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Remember, it's democracy, and it's about human beings, our citizens, how they feel, what out of the opposition plus him and the opposition, when they look at who is it that they think will be a good president for themselves, and they're looking at what each one of them has done, and they can make the comparison, and at the end of the day it's their right to choose who they want. But I still believe that he will retain.
You think he will come
I think
back?
he will retain, given which route we are taking at the moment. I think the next 2 years before the elections, you will see. Even if we talk over the phone, I will be able to tell you what some of the things that have happened. Me, for example, which was a part of our, which is part of our staple food, was very expensive, and all of a sudden that was reduced. And people obviously, yes, it may still be a bit challenging, but it's better than the price that it was before. So he's working hard to ensure that agriculture, industrial, and the service sectors, they contribute to the GDP.
I think you're probably one of the greatest supporters he has. with the no mistakes being done. Thank you for coming and sharing this with us.
I'm very privileged to come down here. Thank you for allowing me. But obviously, like I said, I would have come with somebody, but they couldn't make it.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. I just want to say thank you very much for being with us, and I do hope that we'll be together again for another edition of Africa Speaks. Thanks, and may God bless you all.
Leaves to remain. Do you require advice or representation regarding a personal injury or criminal matter? If the answer is yes, then you do not need to look any further. Aduku Solicitors is here to provide you with all the expert legal advice and representation you require.
Be it immigration, criminal law, appeal against conviction or appeal against sentence, family law, personal injury, civil litigation, employment law, or housing law. Aduku Solicitors is your trusted one-stop legal services provider with expert solicitors and caseworkers on standby to assist. Our police station emergency number is 07792 459 339. You can also call Aduku Solicitors on 0207 183 1479. You can locate Aduku Solicitors at 662 Old Kent Road, London, SE15 1JF.
Are you ready for the ultimate property and lifestyle experience? Get ready for the Ghana Property and Lifestyle Expo 2023, coming to 2 exciting locations. Join us in London on the 11th and 12th of November, where leading reputable real estate developers will be waiting to meet you face to face. Be inspired by industry experts as they provide thought-provoking panel discussions and live Q&A sessions. And finally, mark your calendars for the 16th and 17th of December when the expo lands in Accra, Ghana. Experience the vibrant lifestyle and rich culture of Ghana while exploring investment opportunities in the thriving real estate market. Our expo will also feature exhibitors ranging from banking and legal services to estate and property management. Get all the support and information you need under one roof. So whether you're looking to invest, visit or simply explore the world of real estate, the Ghana Property and Lifestyle Expo 2023 is the place to be. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Book your tickets now via Eventbrite for the Ghana Property and Lifestyle Expo 2023. Dream it, live it. You don't want to miss out.
My name is Kofi Adoko. I'm a principal solicitor at Aduku Solicitors. I am also a duty solicitor. Anytime a person is arrested and taken to a police station, or if the police invite you to the police station for a voluntary interview, you have a right to free independent legal advice. Aduku Solicitors is authorized to provide free independent legal advice at police stations in England and Wales. So anytime you're taken to the police station, remember to say that your solicitors are Aduku Solicitors.
Are you in the UK and in need of immigration help? Do you require expert legal representation to regularise your stay or renew your existing leave to remain? Do you require advice or representation regarding a personal injury or criminal matter? If the answer is yes, then you do not need to look any further. Aduku Solicitors is here to provide you with all the expert legal advice and representation you require.
Be it immigration, criminal law, appeal against conviction or appeal against sentence, family law, personal injury, civil litigation, employment law or housing law. Aduku Solicitors is your trusted one-stop legal services provider with expert solicitors and caseworkers on standby to assist. Our police station emergency number is 07792 459 339. You can also call Aduku Solicitors on 0207 183 1479. You can locate Aduku Solicitors at 662 Old Kent Road, London, SE15 1JF.